So this is your first video tutorial that you'll be getting on SolidWorks this semester. This is kind of a fundamental one that will be kind of needed just at the start. You probably won't have to look back at it again. It's just setting up an A3 landscape sheet with the proper title box and the proper border and everything like that, so that you can start as you mean to go on when you complete your first tutorial in part modeling. So what we want to start off by doing is opening up new up here and going to drawing. So we're going to drawing there. Now, it's very important to recognize that we need to have SolidWorks 2017 downloaded, and Brian has sent you the details that you'll need to know in order to download SolidWorks 2017. And when you've downloaded that, you'll be able to follow this perfectly. If you don't have SolidWorks 2017, this will not be, it'll not be possible to follow this, because there's certain features that I'm going to use that only SolidWorks 2017 has. When you open up a drawing like this here, so we basically opened up a drawing template. Usually what happens is you select a model that you want, or a part file that you want to put in here and display in the drawing area. But that's not what we want to do today. We just want to create the template. So we'll X out of this model view over here that was in the property manager. So all here is the property manager, or is the design tree, based on if you're in part or drawing. In the sheet here, we can right click and we want to kind of change some properties got to do with the sheet. We can name it whatever you want to name it, but scale is 1:1. That's perfect. We want our first angle projection, because that's the predominant projection system that we use at junior cycle and leaving and senior cycle graphics level. So we change that to first angle. We also want an A3 ISO sheet, so we can apply changes to that there. We also don't want this border here. The border here is a kind of a mess and unnecessary for what we're going to do. We want a nice, neater border than that. So we can go into sheet, drop down underneath sheet, it'll have sheet format 1. We can delete all that, so you'll be presented with a blank sheet then. What we want to do now is ensure that we're in the right units. So usually when you first get SolidWorks installed on your PC or your laptop, it will come as a default using IPS, which is inches, pound and second, but we want to use millimeter, gram and second. So that's what we'll have to change first of all, and that will change once you've changed it once. When you've opened up a part, you'll have to change it. When you open up an assembly, you'll have to change it. When you open drawing, you'll have to change it. But once you've changed it once, you're good to go. So what we want to do is put a border on this first of all. But before we put the border on, we want to ensure that we have the right layers. So I'm just going to take away those tabs to make it look like what you have. So what you're going to have to do to display these kind of quick access menus that are quite handy to have, especially for these layers and the layers that we'll be using for the sheet, is you right click up here in the command manager and you say you first want the line format menu, and you can see that it pops up here. It'll probably pop up down here for you, but you can place it wherever you feel it's more convenient for you. Right click up here again, and then you'll be able to use the layer, there it is, the layer quick access menu there. Like that. You can place it wherever you deem fit again. In here you can control what layers you have. So I can change this first one to finish, to the finish layer. There's no need for a description. This here will just say that it will print when we do want to print the document. The color is black, that's perfect. The style is a continuous solid line, that's perfect. And our thickness, to keep up to standards, the BS standards, we want the 0.5 millimeters thickness of a line. We also want to add in another layer, so a new layer, and we want to call this hidden. So this will be, again, solid, doesn't matter, whatever like there. But what we'll do with this hidden one is we'll say that it's not going to print. So when we print this document, it's not going to print this type of layer when we use lines in this layer. This arrow here indicates which layer is active, so we just want to double click up here on finished where that arrow is, and that means that our finished layer is now active, and we're good to go. We've set up our layers for this sheet so far. We want to edit sheet format, which means that we can get to the back end of the sheet and change the border and title block. So we can create those now, and only create it in edit sheet format, so that when you want to draw on the sheet later on, you're not interacting with the border and the title block, and they're not interfering with the relationships you can pick up. So we'll click on edit sheet format. Then that allows us to engage with these two buttons here, which is title block fields and also automatic border. We're just going to use automatic border. and it'll open up this here in the property manager. So if you just see that this is the property manager area on SolidWorks. We're going to use this arrow here to go to next. And when we go in here, we can see that there's a series of options for our border, and we can see that this is not generally the border we like to use for technical graphics and DCG. So what we'll do is we'll just change some parameters. What we can do is go into margins and say that we want our left margin to be 10, and they're all already 10 on the rest of them, so we're okay that way. We can say that we want to hide zone dividers by unclicking the show zone dividers box. We can say that we don't want to show columns and we don't want to show rows. And also quite important is we want to make this a finished layer. So that's a finished layer there. And we'll say okay to that. So this is kind of like a sketch, and there's one thing about SolidWorks that you'll notice that's different to AutoCAD is the sketches can be dynamic. So for example, this rectangle here it's possible to move it around, and just points on it that you can move around. So what we want to do is we just want to get the bottom corner of this rectangle. We want to make it fixed so that it can't move, and that's just defining our geometry. We'll go more into that as we go through sketching and part modeling during the semester. And what we want to do now is we want to create a title box. So we'll just zoom here into the bottom corner here. I'm going to put it in the bottom corner, and we're still in edit sheet format, so don't click out of that yet. And we want to create a rectangle. So we'll create a rectangle in here. We want to go to Smart Dimension to dimension the size of the rectangle that we want, and we want it to be first of all 80 wide, and we want it to be 40 high. So that's 80 wide and 40 high. And you can see these dimensions. Currently they are actually in the finished layer. So if we were to print this would actually print. So you can highlight those, and then over in the property manager you go into other, and you can say that you want these to be part of the hidden layer, and then you can click back out of it and now they're hidden. So that's perfect. Here we're going to create our title block, so that basically the skeleton system of our title block first of all, and we're going to create a line first of all that goes down the middle. And you can see these are snapping to relations here. So this is snapping to the midpoint of these lines, and we're going to create lines. You can also just create a line by pressing L on your keyboard, kind of similar to AutoCAD, and then we have that there. So we've got these. We need another line that goes across here, and we want to smart dimension the distance that line is away from up here, and we want to make that 10. And we've also, so that's essentially our title block as it stands there. What we want to add to our title block now is, we'll just make this part of our hidden layer. What we want to add to our title block now is just our name, our ID, the module, and the drawing number. We can also put in a title and the logo for the School of Education. So we're going to add in first of all a note. So in annotation, this tab up here, you can go into note, and then you can add in text. So we can just click it out here first of all, and I'm going to just put in my name and say OK. Press escape out of that once you've finished typing. I also want to ensure that this is the right size, so I want these to be 3.5 millimeters. That's okay, that'll do for me. Go out there like that, and I can pop this in here. What we kind of need to do is ensure that this is in the center of the box, and I find an easy way of doing that is just creating a series of construction lines. First of all, I can go back into Sketch to do that, go into line, the arrow down beside it, and create center line, and then I can just create this all the way down, and this can act as my construction line for keeping my text in center for the remainder of this document. I'll start again, and you'll see why in a second, because it snaps to the midpoint of what I'm doing. So I can bring down this here, as you're feeling, and there it is there, and that snaps to that there. And once I put that in there, I can just simply delete that, and that is there. A bit of a quicker way of doing this now is just if I go into annotation and go into note, I can just click in. Now what I want to do is my ID, so my ID is 121555918, and I can say I want to get out of that. And I can put in then the module code, so it's PN4023, and get out of that. Press escape after you've finished typing, and then also the drawing number. So this is drawing number 1. So we'll just go with DRWNO.1. Keep it tidy for the size of the box. and also the title of this. So the title now goes down here. So I'm going to make sure that I press escape or enter after I put in the first one. So the title, so the first topic we're doing is auxiliary projection. And I'm going to make that centered as well. So that's perfect. That's all I need so far. And what I can do is now just pop these in and populate the fields that I want them to go into. So my module code is going to go here. Drawing number is going to go here. And you can see that it snaps on to the midpoint of the center line that I drew, as it's acting as a construction line for that whole piece. And I can click on now all of these center lines and just get rid of them because there's no need for them now. Now what we want to do in the bottom right hand corner here is we want to put the logo for the School of Education. So it's quite a useful kind of skill to have, is putting in the logo. So I'm just going to actually show you how to do it instead of just popping it in. What I want to do is go into search, and in all of Windows computers there's a snipping tool, and I want to click on that snipping tool, and you can see in the module outline the logo for the School of Education is there. So we can have that open and put in the snipping tool then. And we can say we want to create a new snip and snip out the School of Education logo there like that. And we can say we want to save that onto our desktop, and we can say that S School of Education, SOE, and save that there. X out of that, and we can X out of that and finish with it. And I can go into SolidWorks now, and I can say I want to insert picture. So go up here, and there's an arrow right beside the DS SolidWorks, and then when you've gone into that arrow, you can go into insert, and you say you want to insert picture. And there's our picture that we want to insert. So if you zoom out, then it's after popping in over here, and we can resize that and just pop it in to the bottom right hand square of where we're talking about. So I'll pop that there. And it looks like it's contrasting to the background of the actual page, but if you think about it, it's going to actually just be printed out as white anyway, so there's not a huge difference in it. Okay, so that's our title block and also our border finished. And what we can do now is we can go into sheet format tab up here, and we want to say that we want to exit editing the sheet format. And if you want to go in and edit this again, all you have to do is go back into this tab and edit sheet format. So now we're out of that, and we can't actually interact with any of those again. So they're kind of the background of the sheet now. So that's that there. There's a couple of more important things to do now. When you've saved this sheet, we want to save it as a template so that you don't have to do this every single time that you open up a drawing. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to save this sheet, and we want to save it so we want to have a file. If you have it on a USB, to save this, so we have to save this sheet 2 times. We first of all have to save it as a drawing, then we have to save it as a drawing template so that you can open up as a drawing template. If you put it on a USB, or if you've got a laptop and you have a specific location that this is on, that would be ideal. That means that you can open up it as a template every time, and this is the drawing that you want to interact with. So first of all, we can open up in a folder that you create yourself wherever you deem fit, called drawing templates, and we just call it A3 landscape. A3 landscape, save that there, and then we're going to save as drawing templates. So you save it as a drawing template, then in the very same location. So into drawing templates, and it's called A3 landscape anyway, so you can save that. So 2 files, one is a drawing, one is drawing a template. So now they are saved there. We can exit out of that. What we do now is we go into settings, and we go into system options, and we want to talk about file locations. Currently, this is where it's telling us, SolidWorks tells us it gets its templates for its drawings and its tutorials and everything like that. What we want to add is our location, the folder that we created to put our drawings into. And we can see that I had this on my desktop. Wherever you have it, it'll be able to locate that. And I've selected the folder that they're in. I do not select the actual drawing template, but I select the folder that they're in, and I can say select that folder, and now that's added there, and that's added as drawing templates. And I'll say OK to that, and then yes, you can. So you'll have to click this a couple of times. It's allowing it to make changes to the system. It's changing how it views that. Now, next time you go into new and you go into advanced here. So when you click new, this is what comes up for you. You go into advanced. Now you've got drawing templates, and you can open up your A3 landscape sheet. And instead of having to change it all over again, this is what you get instead. Okay, thank you, and I will see you in labs next week.